Rally Championship 3 aims to fully replicate Milestone's rally simulation on Sony's handheld PS Vita system. Unlike Criterion, who has heavily publicized their Vita version of Need for Speed Most Wanted, Milestone has been surprisingly secretive about their Vita version. It's not even available here in the US. I actually had to import the game from Australia in order to play it. This move by Milestone is surprising because I believe that WRC on the Vita holds up very well against its console counterpart. It's a true technical feat that can safely proclaim itself as the Vita's first real driving game. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the video footage of WRC 3 on my Vita while I give my review of the game. Visually, WRC 3 looks excellent on the Vita's crystal clear screen. All the bells and whistles of the Spike engine have remained largely intact, sporting a similar level of track detail and lighting techniques. It all runs at a steady 30 frames per second, perfectly capturing WRC3's enthralling sense of speed. I did encounter a few instances of slowdown during some of the load screens before and after the rally, however. It remains mostly solid throughout. It's not quite identical to the console version though. Minor differences such as less prominent reflections and small sacrifices to the track texture details aside, WRC3 looks every bit as good as it does on the PS3, which is a testament to the capabilities of the powerful PS Vita. The graphics were altered slightly. The rendering required some reduction in texture and material quality since the Vita has less power than the consoles. So Milestone needed to remove some objects from tracks and also remove some layers for materials, but nothing too drastic. They reduced the grass around the track, for example, but kept the experience as similar as possible. Predictably, compromises had to be made in order to prevent the Vita version from becoming a stuttering wreck. The most significant omission is WRC3's Road to Glory, which of course means that WRC3 on the Vita doesn't have a main career mode. You can still play through the championships, so there is still some sense of progression, but considering that Gran Turismo on the PSP received significant backlash for not including a career mode, this was a risky move by Milestone. However, when you think about the portable market, content is adjusted to suit the portable platform, so Milestone focused on single races and the WRC Championship. I think that Milestone decided it would be better to create really good visuals and physics. Since it's on a portable console, people are more likely to play it on the go, so they're looking for a quicker gaming experience. I think that giving a very good, quick experience is better than adding too much content and slowing things down. Besides, there's always downloadable content, right? Unfortunately, Milestone's ambition to keep the graphics and performance on par with the console game has meant that WRC on the Vita will have less stages. Only 6 are available compared to 13 on the PS3. Each stage remains faithful to its console version, and fortunately Mexico, Argentina, and Portugal will be added as free DLCs to soften the blow. The car count has also been decreased. Only 11 out of WRC3's 37 cars are bundled with the Vita version, but this comes as a result of Road to Glory being dropped. All of the WRC Class 2 and 3 cars are in, but you won't be able to drive the Retro Group B cars featured in Road to Glory. As with tracks, hopefully Milestone can release some of the missing cars as DLCs at a later date. As for multiplayer, WRC on the Vita will only support 6 players as opposed to 16, and photo mode is also not included. It's a shame that WRC3 on the Vita has been so severely stripped of content, especially when you consider that it retails for almost the same price as the full console version, and the fact that Criterion managed to cram Need for Speed Most Wanted from the PS3 to the Vita in its entirety. The WRC experience is made up of a single race where you pick a track, car, and stage, then jump right in. Single rally is similar to single race, but of course it features the entire stages that make up one rally. Then there's the full-blown rally championship. Here you can do all 6 rallies: Monte Carlo, Greece, Germany, Wales, France, and Spain, and choose how many stages for each country, up to a maximum of 6. You can also put them in any order, which makes a refreshing change if you like to repeat championships. You are stuck with real-world preset drivers, but you pick the car class before the championship starts. You have WRC, Class 2, and Class 3 vehicles with a wide range of cars, sponsors, and teams to choose from. You can also save your progress after each rally so you can do this in relatively small chunks. Before you set out with your co-driver, you can also alter the car's settings. You're able to alter 4 main sections: front suspension, rear suspension, gears, and body. Things like brake bios, handbrake strength, and front differential all have sliders for the mechanical-minded player. You can also choose a suggested setup, where all the hard work is done for you. You also have the ability to save these setups in save slots for later use. The racing is quite competitive in a championship and demands great concentration to keep up with the best across all of the stages and rallies. There's plenty of replayability here too, with the different car classes, difficulty settings, and the ability to customize your championship. After each stage, you are presented with a repair screen. Depending on how much damage you've inflicted, you have 60 minutes in game time to repair your vehicle to the best of your ability. You can choose from different sliders that fix things like brakes, suspension, bodyworks, and gearbox. Each repair takes a set amount of time, so you have to decide which parts are urgent and which can wait until the next repair opportunity. This does present a bit of strategy, especially if you have the damage model set on high. You can also have the AI do an auto repair. This is a nice quick fix, but it may not always be the best option. The multiplayer modes have options for custom match, create match, and leaderboards. You can also jump into a game via a quick match. The options for creating a custom game have typical settings that you would expect from a single rally to a full championship, although the latter could take some time with a maximum setting of 13 stages. You can also alter things like damage, number of players, and car category. Your online profile details your wins and level for each class. These are adjusted after each win, obviously. The online allows for up to 6 players that race in single stages at once. Other racers' cars are on track as ghost cars only. These are easy to see in the distance too, as they turn a solid color, which helps. As you near your competitor, their ghost fades, so that it never obscures your vision. Plus, you can also see where you are on a gauge to the left of the screen. The racing feels exactly like a single player experience with very little lag. It actually feels good when you see somebody's ghost in the distance hitting a curve wrong, allowing you to gain an advantage and possible takeover. It's all pretty standard and does create another challenge for budding WRC fans. Options for WRC3 include such things as your typical sound, HUD, and control options. The game's options also have some neat settings for newcomers and experienced drivers alike. You can set things like braking help, damage, transmission, rewind features, and look at apex. All of these settings come down to personal preference. In-game car views can be chosen from a bumper cam, a hood cam, an in-car or cockpit view, and an out-of-car view, which is basically a chase camera. Looking at the content offered in WRC3, the overall feeling is that there could have been more. Yes, the rallies will take time to master and learn, but a few more options, modes, or extra content would have been great. The Vita could have quite easily stored all of WRC3's data, but this would have prevented WRC3 from running at 30 frames per second. It's for these reasons that crossplay isn't available for WRC3 due to the different content across the platforms. As it is, what's offered is adequate. So how does it handle and play? Great. One main complaint I always have regarding rally games is that the cars feel too floaty. They seem like the surface is not connecting with the tires and the car is almost hovering. I'm quite impressed with the effect they've achieved with the Vita version. The cars all feel weighty and stick to the representing surface. Whether you're on ice or mud, you can actually feel the difference. It's not a massive amount like a true sim, but enough to warrant setting up your car and tweaking settings for a better experience. The physics are not true sim style either, but they are also not a dumbed down arcade experience either. They sit somewhere in the middle and feel just right for this kind of game on the Vita. Taking S turns at high speeds while applying the smallest amount of braking pressure feels rewarding when grazing walls or drifting through a turn. Similarly, when braking under speed, your vehicle actually takes time to stop, making judging braking points for tight bends all the more rewarding. Add into the equation the handbrake, and you soon feel like a pro tapping and tweaking the gas and brakes while adding just the right amount of an e-brake to turn those tight corners as fast and tight as possible. The only thing that's missing are rumble features. Overall, the driving mechanics feel just right for WRC3. They're not too sim-like, but are deep and rewarding enough to provide plenty of challenge and replay value. The best part about them is your car actually feels like it's on the road for once instead of hovering over it. Details on cars is decent, but upon closer inspection, some logos and decals look very basic and low resolution. This is only really noticeable when starting a rally. During actual in-game action, the car looks detailed, and little touches like seeing your driver move the wheel, change gears, and use the e-brake at the right time add to the immersion. Bodywork flies off, dents and damage appear on all panels, and even dirt builds up on the car's exterior. This all adds to the game's appeal. The overall graphical detail is also quite high for this type of game and looks good for the most part. Overall, it's above average for a Vita game. It's certainly not in the same league as Uncharted, Wipeout, or Call of Duty, but it still looks great. Care has been taken to make the game look great where possible, and considering the development time and the size of the team working on the project, I would say that they've done an admirable job. Trackside objects all look detailed enough. Detail in the distance is good too, which helps to portray the illusion that you're actually on a mountaintop or in a thick wooded area. The sound effects are pretty basic and what you would expect for a rally game. There are typical effects when hitting walls, going through mud, and cheering from onlookers. The engine sounds are good too, with the pops and growls all in the right places. Again, it gets the job done.
Go. Careful, crest, then right 3. Left 6 into right 6, then left 2, narrow. Right 6 into left 5. Right 2 and left 3. Right 5, keep right, left 4 into right 3, tighten. Then left 3 into right 4, keep middle. Right 5, long and hairpin left, barrier inside. 40, hairpin right. Left 4 and right 3. 40, hairpin left. Right 6 into left 5, long. Right 3, don't cut, into left 3 and right 3, open. Left 5 and right 2.
What we're left with is a rally game that is deep and rewarding if you invest the time and delve into the setups and options. This game is definitely one for the WRC fans out there, and it's clearly aimed at a specific audience. Some may find this type of racing game off-putting or boring, like every F1 game I've ever played. The game also has an adequate feel to it. It's like they did just what they had to do instead of putting in any extra effort. One could forgive certain elements, as this is the first attempt for Milestone. Far bigger development studios get away with far more on their first attempts. I'm looking forward to how Milestone can progress this game in the future. Dig in though, and it's quite an enjoyable and satisfying experience, especially for WRC fans. Any downfalls the game has are slightly blurred when you're having this much fun. The average Joe may be better served waiting for a demo before laying down their hard-earned cash. The game also makes a refreshing change from your typical high-octane rally game that bombards you with things like Mountain Dew and quotes like, "You're the man" and "Awesome, dude." Sony could potentially have a seller on their hands here. WRC 3 is, in my opinion, by far the most realistic driving game currently available for the Vita, which puts it in a class of its own. So once it comes here to the United States, I would definitely recommend picking this up.